Hello there. I'm here, and it's about a minute early. I wanted to make sure I could get started. My husband and I set this all up tonight without my stage manager, Loretta Walker. Can you believe? And hi, Stephanie. And I'm excited that we got our own tripod. We are setting up to both of us be able to be online. I'm going to look into my own YouTube channel. I'm trying to get off. There's some little fuzzies on my little pictures. I don't want them on here. Get off. Get off. Get off. Get off. Get off. See, that's why I did it early. There they go. Good. I think I got most of them off. I'm trying to get off. Yeah, there we go. Hi, Sherry. Man, I haven't seen you in so long. It's so much fun to be able to connect. I was telling my wellness doctor the other day that I lived with over 4,000 college-age girls, and along with, of course, helping Mrs. Evans in the Dean of Women's office and working with college activities, and I've been blessed to be able to, that God used me and to influence kids, and I had a lot to learn myself, and so I have a lot. Hi, Penny. I have a lot of friends out there. I have friends, I have students, I have not just acquaintances through Facebook, but many students, former students, friends, loved ones. I'm blessed. And it does mean a lot since I don't have living family. I do have the tutor side of the family, but all of the Fries are gone. And so I have to claim all my sisters in Christ, and you're my sisters in Christ. Tonight's subject is going to be a little difficult to teach in 30 minutes, 35 minutes. A lot of you are going to be frustrated, but I'm going to teach you what to look up and how to find your own answers. The subject is thyroid and progesterone imbalances and the causes and treatments. Let me have a prayer and then I'll get started. Father, I ask, Lord, that you would use this video to bless a lot of lives. I pray, Lord, that you'd help us to be well. You want us. You said, I want my children to walk in health. I ask, Lord, that you'd help us to be wise about our bodies and take care of our temples and help us not to listen to Satan. Give us strength to eat right. I ask, Lord, again, that you just bless this time. Give me your mind, Lord, and I pray that you'd guide my mind, keep my mind clear and focused. In Jesus' name, amen. I wanted to say, there's a saying, I started this with, three principles that I want you to remember. One is, you are what you what. Eat, drink, and breathe. And that even controls your hormones, okay? It's very important. And the second one was Hosea 4:6, which says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. We need knowledge. We need more knowledge. Your doctors don't have time to teach you, and especially now with the Medicare system that's very complex, and the health system has become somewhat broken, and it's very obtuse. It's very difficult to manage, and so therefore you're going to have to be self-taught. The more you can learn about holistic medicine, nutrition, the better. You just got to be reading and learning and just ask the Lord to teach you. One of the great things about my teachers is that they didn't just give me a fish. There's a saying, give me a fish today and I eat today. But teach me to fish and I eat for a lifetime. So I want you all, and especially some of you younger folks, to really learn how to research. For example, you might want to learn about vaccinations, but you don't go to the World Health Organization to learn about vaccinations. You're not going to learn the right thing. And so you've got to know where to look and what to look. And I'm going to try to teach you tonight a little bit about where you can look and find answers. The first thing about the endocrine system is that the endocrine system is all of your glands that work with hormones. And by the way, hormones don't just have to do with male and female. Insulin, which comes from the pancreas, is a hormone. Now, I'm not going to get to cover what I wish I could, like I did in my medical class back at Howes-Anderson. The endocrine system is a complex, very fragile, very sensitive system. And sadly, a lot of our medications, a lot of our drugs, a lot of our foods, our cleaning supplies, they all have things called endocrine disruptors. And so our endocrine systems are messed up. The endocrine system contains your thyroid, your pancreas, your thymus, your ovaries. In the male, it's the testes, it's the adrenal glands. It's not simply just female and male hormones. So a hormone is a chemical messenger. A hormone does a job in your body. And so it's a messenger. It just sends a message to different things and tells them what to do. And tonight I want to talk about the problems of low energy, menstrual cycle problems, PMS, fibroids, infertility, which is so sad. We have such a high amount of people that are infertile in our country. We have the hysterectomy hoax going on, where the doctors, you go because there's a problem, and the doctor thinks the hysterectomy will solve it all. In my day and time, one of my aunts had a hysterectomy, and there was no hormone replacement. She landed in a mental institution because they took everything out when she was in her 30 years old, and she had a complete nervous breakdown because we can't live without hormones. I would like to see older people in nursing homes given hormones instead of antidepressants. I truthfully believe part of Alzheimer's is lack of hormones in the aged population. And okay, so the endocrine system, we're fearfully and wonderfully made. And for those of you ladies, and I see it's mostly ladies, hi Judy, are out there, we should feel blessed that God gave us the ability to bring a child into this world. We have a fearfully and wonderfully made body. It's amazing what our body can do. Because it's amazing, and because it's complex, and because it's fragile, we can have a lot of things go wrong with it. Sadly, because the standard American diet, like I've talked about, we have been given birth control pills. And by the way, the smallest, tiniest birth control pill is still 11 times more estrogen than a woman needs. Between our medications, our surgeries, our lack of the right foods and minerals, our systems are broken. We have things like hypothyroidism, and I want to talk about that first. The thyroid controls so much. The thyroid really does control the menstrual cycle. The thyroid controls metabolism. I'm going to look at my notes. The metabolism, it controls the cycle, energy level, fertility, infertility. The common symptoms are fatigue, constipation, hair, skin, and nail problems, being cold all the time, being hot all the time, when other people are not. Headaches. Migraines probably have their root in either thyroid problems or parasites, believe it or not. PMS, fibroids, women with fibroids, it is definitely a thyroid / progesterone problem. Heavy PMS, moods, anxiety attacks, and sadly, we have so many people have anxiety attacks and panic attacks. They go to the ER, they get all the tests, and the doctors send them home with usually an antidepressant or an anti-anxiety, Xanax. They don't figure out what's going on. Hair loss or hair coarseness or hair dryness, slow thinking, brain fog. There's actually a thing called cold brain. Your brain is so cold because you're not getting blood flow to the brain because the thyroid isn't working. Interesting thing about the thyroid, it's a butterfly organ in your neck. And every ounce of blood goes through your thyroid every hour. I'll repeat that. Every ounce of blood goes through your thyroid every hour. That's how important the thyroid is. Now, one of the issues we need to discuss right away is that every human being needs to be taking iodine in some form. You cannot get enough of it from iodized salt. By the way, you need to not be using any white salt. You need to be using pink Himalayan salt or gray Celtic salt. Those are the two salts that have some of what you need. But the thyroid cannot make thyroxine, which is the hormone that you need, without iodine. Now, years ago, we used to get iodine out of our ground. Our vegetables had iodine. We had enough iodine because our ground had been so abused. But now all of our lands have been sprayed with pesticides. They haven't rested, like the Bible talks about resting our lands, resting our ground. And so our ground has been leached of minerals. A lot of the problems we have in our bodies with complaints about not feeling good in the hormone system is the lack of iodine and magnesium, and those are minerals. Most doctors aren't talking about those much. So you need iodine. I will be posting on my page what I use. I want to say again, disclaimer, I'm not making any money from any of the things that I recommend. I'm being very cautious what I recommend. I don't know what things were made where. This is a good product. I have a good product that I like. But you need iodine, 12.5 milligrams. Everybody should be taking it every day. You'd have to eat a pound of salt. I don't even know if that would do it. There's no way to get enough iodine from salt. So, or from your vegetables. And so, but the more greens you eat, the healthier you're going to be. Lots of greens and lots of vegetables. And so, because you are what you eat. All right, so you need iodine, and iodine will help the thyroid work, and the thyroid will help the ovaries work. And so there is a test, home test for thyroid disease. Supposedly 70 million Americans have hidden hypothyroidism. Reason, we do not have good blood tests. And you have to realize there's a lot of diseases we don't have blood tests for. My brother was diagnosed with MS. We had no test for it. There wasn't even an MRIs weren't even made in 1980. And so they had to go by, they interpreted the symptoms. We had to go to an expert that knew the symptoms. And so your thyroid tests are not very accurate. There's a lot of false positives. There's a lot of people in other words, you can have the disease, but the test will say that you're normal. So I can encourage you to get a thyroid profile drawn, but it won't necessarily show up. The best test is called the Broda-Barnes home test. You can look that up online, but I'll tell you quickly what it is. You put a put a thermometer by the side of your bed at night, and in the morning before you get out of bed, before you brush your teeth, before you do anything, take your temperature. Do that for a week, and then you want to average it. Many people find their temperature's 97. Some people are as low as 97.4. Some people are 96, 97. You're supposed to be 98.6. And so anything below that average, that means you're cold. Even if you don't feel cold, your organs are cold. And that is a test of your metabolism that shows that you have you could have a mild thyroid problem. You could have a major one. Can't tell you that. Don't let anybody take your thyroid out. Even if you think it's got something, try to get it treated holistically. Don't let them use a radioactivity on you or anything like that. You can be treated holistically for growths on the thyroid. There's a condition called a goiter, Goiter, of the thyroid. That means it's enlarged. It's enlarged because it's working so hard because it doesn't have the mineral it needs to do what it's supposed to do. And remember, every ounce of blood goes through the thyroid every hour. And so this cold brain problem, cold feet, some people on the other hand, they are sweaty and hot all the time. Can be one or the other, extreme. So I have to tell you the purple toe story, and we in medicine, we believe in grand rounds where you talk about a patient and you teach people from it. When I was teaching at Hiles-Anderson back in the 90s, a girl came, very sharp girl, straight A student. I noticed she almost showed no reaction on her face, no emotion, no expression. I thought that was a little different. I didn't think that was good. You know, we were supposed to have smiles and happies and slads, and I thought she's a little like a flat effect on her face. Well, so she came to me and she said, Miss Fry, I was Miss Fry back then. She said, my toes are peeling and they're purple. I said, really? And she said, I'd have to look at them. You know, I said, I can't just diagnose you through, you know. So she came up to my office and I did what I always do. I did a complete history and physical. Just basically took a medical history, starting at the top of her head, going to her feet. Example, I said, tell me about, do you have any problem with your ears, your eyes? I went through the systems. I went through the, stomach, digestion, and I got to the female organs, and I said, tell me about your cycle. She said, I don't have one. This girl was 23 years old, master's student. And she said, I don't have one. And I had looked at her toes, and the 3 middle toes on both feet were purple and peeling. And I said, you don't have a cycle? She said, yeah, my mom took me to a local doctor, and he said that was normal. That, no big deal, it'll start someday. And I was pretty stunned, and I said, okay. So I said, no, I don't think it's normal. And I said, would your mom want you to go see my doctor, who was a holistic doctor? Well, long story short, he put her on thyroid and he put her on natural progesterone, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. And it took it actually took a year to balance her, maybe even 2. I remember we had to go on different thyroid medicines and we had to try different things because it would make her heart race and etc. But finally, she began having cycles after maybe 2 years of hormone therapy. After that, she came to see me and she said, guess what, Miss Fry? The purple toes are gone. And so the purple toes, I believe, were lack of circulation due to the fact that when the thyroid doesn't work, you don't have proper circulation. And your body, in an effort to bring the blood to the middle of the body, your organs are cold. They don't like to be cold. Or they're overheated. And so the body will try to conserve energy, and that's why a lot of hypothyroidism people have migraines, headaches, brain fog, cloudy thinking, and or cold feet. And so this lady went on to have several problems maintaining pregnancies because the thyroid and the progesterone have to do with successful pregnancies. And she actually lost, I believe, 2 or 3 children before she does have several now successfully, but she could not get a doctor to put her on progesterone. It's interesting enough. Progesterone, natural progesterone and thyroid, the two, it's like the twins. You need both. You have to make sure that they're both functioning well to have an adequate female system. And so way back in the 70s, you couldn't get progesterone in America, but you could get it in England. And I actually had Dr. Streeter help me find a man. I shipped over progesterone to give a girl in the dorm who had very bad depression, and it helped immensely. Well, then, of course, pretty much then America started opening up and getting bioidentical natural hormones became more prevalent. I want to explain something about hormones. For example, Synthroid is the drug that basically they give everybody, and it is a drug that is it's a chemical, and it turns the thyroid basically off. And the worst part is there's quite a few side effects. One is atrial fibrillation, irregular heartbeat. One is osteoporosis, thinning of the bones. And so that is not a drug you want to be on. The 2 prescription drugs, if you could have a doctor give it to you, would be Nature Thyroid or Armour Thyroid. So those are the only 2 prescriptions. However, there is a lot of, there's raw thyroid online you can buy. And I will be giving you a couple websites where you can go to if you think that, if you take the temperature test, find out if your temperature is subnormal, and you'll know that you need it. You'll know that you need iodine. Even people who don't have thyroid problems, who are probably more balanced, like look at Mrs. Trieber. She's probably one of the only, I guess she's the only person I know that's had the health history that she's had. Never been in a hospital. I had all her babies at home, and I mean, she's never been on an antibiotic. I mean, she's just healthy as a horse, a beautiful blonde horse. And she's my idol for that. She may be somebody who gets enough from all the vegetable sheets and stuff that she doesn't need iodine. But anybody who's had any imbalances, medications, too many medications, too many antibiotics, too many hormones will need iodine. That leads me to the next subject, which is progesterone. And I want to say this: when like things like ovarian cysts, fibroids, heavy PMS, heavy periods, all of this is caused by a condition called estrogen dominance. Estrogen dominance, low thyroid, low progesterone, they all go together. They're triplets. And when you do some research, those of you that have issues, you're going to need to read up on this, and it's not an easy thing. I can't even really explain that well things. I see someone's writing on there things about T3 to T4. See, your body has a thyroid hormone that is for when it needs energy, and it also has a thyroid hormone for when it needs rest. So there's T3, T4, thyroxine, and all of these work together, and actually they work with the liver, and actually they work with your hormones. And sadly, because we have estrogen dominance, and you need to research that. That's a term you want to look up. And remember, I'm teaching you all how to study for yourself so you can learn this stuff. Impossible for me to explain. I could probably teach 2 hours tonight and not even get through how complicated and intricate our system is and what we need to do for it. And that's why I said first thing to do is get off processed food, get off soda pop, get off candy. Find yourself some good dark chocolate that's quality. Get on the salads. Tonight we had roast vegetables. They were delicious. I roasted them at 450 with olive oil. We had Japanese sweet potatoes. We had broccoli. We had Brussels sprouts. We had just 15 different vegetables that I roasted. It was delicious. There's just all kinds of things out there you can eat that will give your body more of the nutrients that it needs. And so you got to fix that first. That alone. And so back to this thyroid thing. Estrogen dominance caused by all the high, definitely, like for example, I lived near crop dusting. I grew up on the farmland where I was exposed to all kinds of things. And so we have chemicals. We have what they call xenoestrogens. We have a lot of plastics, and plastics have xenoestrogens. We have a lot, and estrogen dominance creates an imbalance in your body, which will create fibroids of the uterus, very severe PMS, either infertility or too fertile, moodiness, very bad moodiness, depression, anxiety, panic attacks, and there's about 100 more symptoms. Mrs. Trieber says this is spot on. Listen, ladies, so many women are so up and down and moody and depressed and nervous. And remember, we got an intricate system here. And because man has messed with it, it's not all your faults. Because man has messed with it, it's out of balance, it's out of whack. I still take natural progesterone. I take iodine. I take raw thyroid. My husband's 76, I'm 70. We're on natural hormones. We will be taking them as long as we're in charge of our own health. We'll be taking them. I cannot tell you how much they help. It's amazing. It's amazing. And so the bioidentical hormones is a way to say it. Natural progesterone. This is my natural progesterone. That it's a cream, Pro Relief. I get this online. It is not a high dose, but it works for me at this age. When I was in my 40s, I needed a higher dose because I began going through the change of life. And so, by the way, ladies, 35, perimenopause pretty much starts at 35. And so you may be having some changes, and what that means is the ovaries begin to shrink, and when they do, again, you're losing the ability for hormones to make you feel good about life, and so there's also a few women that need estrogen, not a lot. There is a few women that need testosterone. My friends in Maryville, you have Dr. Dennis Streeter, and I would refer to him. He's got a company that he works with called BioT, and the company tests all these hormones, including your D3, your thyroid. And what's great about this is it's a computer system where your labs are entered into the computer, and the computer spits out the things you need. And I would recommend going to see him if you're in that area. If you're anywhere in the Northwest Indiana area, he's helped me and my husband both. And so back to this thing about progesterone and estrogen dominance. There's a Dr. John Lee who really is the person who started using the natural progesterone. By the way, natural progesterone is a protectant against cancer. I really think if I hadn't been on it all these years, I think I could be dead from cancer. I had 8 or 9 aunts die of cancer. All 4 grandparents, both parents. I really believe with all my heart. I told Dr. Streeter that I felt he contributed to my length of life. And so our bodies, to keep in balance, we have to be giving them the right ingredients. And that's why I talked about, in a couple videos ago, I talked about eliminating dryer sheets. Your dryer sheets are loaded with cancer-causing chemicals, and your dryer sheets are loaded with endocrine disruptors, things that mess up the hormone systems. And so your natural progesterone, by the way, if you're wanting to have a child and you're having any trouble with infertility, you definitely need to get help with thyroid and progesterone. I will be leaving you 2 Facebook pages, Stop the Thyroid Madness, Forefront Health. There is a way to take oral progesterone. You can have cream. There's a capsule. There's liquid. I actually take a small little dose under my tongue at night. And my husband uses a cream, but there's this BioT company. It's BIO capital TE, 2 words. That company, you could do research and see if there's a BioT company close to you. And they also give, there's a small tiny hormone pellet they put in the hip, which testosterone pellets, which help a lot. And we women do have a small amount of testosterone, and we don't want a lot because we don't want to start growing beards. But we need a combination of the right amounts. And so what happens when you get to, okay, let's talk about, like a miscarriage. What happens with the miscarriage is this. The placenta, when a lady gets pregnant, the placenta should be producing a lot of progesterone. However, because of our diet, our endocrine disruptors, like I've talked about, chemicals, etc., we are estrogen dominant, so we don't have enough progesterone. So when the baby is those first 12 weeks, that's why there's so many miscarriages those first 12 weeks. Because during those first 12 weeks, that progesterone, of course, that baby's just millions and millions of cells every minute are being massively reproduced. And again, our complex, beautiful, we are co-creators with God. You can make a baby. And here you are, your body is, this is just producing massive cell life. Well, the demands on the placenta are big, and if you don't have enough progesterone, that placenta will it'll slough off and you'll start to bleed. And so, finally, the doctors in the Northwest Indiana area were actually giving women 200 to 400 milligrams of progesterone a day, those first 12 weeks especially. I have a person I know quite well who had twins, and one died in the womb, and she started bleeding. And when she delivered, thankfully, the child that was left was given a 50-50 chance. And when he was born, her umbilical cord shredded. That is not good. On people who take progesterone, the umbilical cord is big and thick and healthy. So natural progesterone / bioidentical progesterone, however you want to say it, it's made from yams. It's made from natural ingredients. It's not like progestin. Progestin is the chemical. You don't want to take that. You want to take the natural progesterone. I say this now, just a quick minute to you married ladies who are in the menopause. The reason you're going through this is your hormones, your ovaries are shrinking. Everything's starting to shut down. You need progesterone. It will help immensely. And I'm really concerned about our men. And I'm concerned about our marriages because the libido is very affected. Too much estrogen is not good for that. And it's very important for us women to be what our husbands need. It's very important for that part of our relationship. And natural progesterone and natural testosterone help take care of that. And so, should we need all this? No. In a perfect world, if we were still in the Garden of Eden, they had a perfect bodies, they had all that they needed. In fact, their diet was exactly like the Halley-Acres diet. It was raw food. They ate all the fruits and vegetables and herbs in the garden. They had the perfect diet. They were constantly detoxing. They were always healthy. They felt great. But after the fall of man, things got worse. And now, because our world has become so, we've got so many chemicals, we've got GMOs, genetically modified foods, and corn is not a good thing to eat at all. Because it's genetically, it's made in a lab now. We don't know what generation of corn it is. And it causes all kinds of health issues. It causes mycotoxins, and those mycotoxins are endocrine disruptors. And an endocrine disruptor is an ingredient that messes with your ovaries, it messes with your adrenals, it messes with your thyroid. So in order to have a successful and really have a good female system, you've got to have a functioning thyroid, you've got to have a functioning progesterone level. I want to say 2 things. Don't forget the girl with the purple toes, okay? Had a girl come to me and she said, I took so many girls to Dr. Cal Streeter, and he's 81, and I heard he's only working 1 day a week. I talked to his son today. I love that man. He helped me a lot, and he's helped a lot of women. And girl came to me and she goes, I can't have any children. I'm 33. And I said, well, what happened? And I said, what happened? And she said, I took the shot, and you've seen these shots advertised. It's birth control. And it says, only to be given to women who've already had children. Well, doctors don't listen to that, and he gave this girl a shot. Well, it totally shut down. She hadn't had a period for like 8 years. She got the shot, I think she was 23, 24. So I took her to Dr. Streeter, and he did the same magic formula again. He put her on natural thyroid, he put her on iodine, and he put her on progesterone. And she had 3 children. Now, the sad part of the story is, a few years later, while these 3, 4, 5-year-old children were little children, she got ovarian cancer. And I often wonder, of course no proof, but I often wonder what that hormone shot, what that did to that poor girl's body. You know, it's never normal for a person not to have a cycle. That is not a girl, not a person, a girl not to have a cycle. That until she hits, menopause. And so it's very much any young woman who's not having that, and being put on the pill will not help. That's what they do. They put you on a pill to regulate your cycle, thinking it's going to help. And it's birth control. It makes your body think you're pregnant all the time, but it's not. And so, and remember what my pharmacist told me, the smallest, tiniest birth control pill is still 11 times more estrogen than you need. And I probably will get some questions about what to do. You can PM me about anything. Just private message me. I am taking appointments. If it's a simple question, I may answer it. I'm not answering questions from people who have a lot of comorbidities. If you have a lot of different diseases going on, that's dangerous. I need to do a real complete physical. I want to see if there's anything else on my notes that I need to mention. Let's see. Facebook pages, Forefront Health, Stop the Madness. Now, if you have some issues that I've talked about today, I think what you should do is go back over this video, take down the notes, take down any name I've given or anything I've talked about that you need to research and look up. But remember, I want to encourage you, do what I do. Now, you can't read as much as I read because I'm semi-retired, but even at college, all my years, I've just read copious amounts. And it starts with the Bible, of course. My husband and I try to read the Bible through 4 times a year, and I love it. And this morning we were reading Deuteronomy, one of my favorite books. But then go into any extra reading. Get rid of your fiction. Get rid of your TV shows. You know, I can't believe the number of people that tell me I saw the whole series of Downton Abbey. That is not a clean show. So when you get to heaven, you're going to tell the Lord, I saw the whole series of Downton Abbey. Why don't you read the whole series of Anatomy and Physiology and learn about your body and your temple? And then teach your daughters. So many of you need to teach your daughters because they don't know about hormone imbalances and progesterone. For those of you that had normal pregnancies, thank God. There are a lot of women out there that do have those, and that is amazing. And I thank the Lord, and I think, a lot of times women can't deliver a baby. They have to have a C-section. They don't want to do that if they don't have to. Baby's healthier if it goes through the birth canal. But if it's going to be an emergency and you have to have that, man, you want to do it. You don't want to not save the baby. I have 2 grandchildren. One was natural birth, and the other one she was in reverse. She was coming out breech, and so they did a planned C-section, and she's doing quite well. But Dr. John Lee will help you know what to do about natural progesterone and the Broda Barnes self-thyroid test. That's home test. You want to take those are going to help with that. Endometriosis is something I'm not going to talk about, but if you want to PM me, it's a little bit complex to explain. Again, for another hormone imbalance, all because of different things. Your body, you say, well, how come some people get one thing and some people? We are all very individualized. We have our own genetic makeup. We have our own background. We have our own health history. We have our own food history. And so then you add to it everything that we've done, everything that we've done to our bodies with the bad foods. And by the way, I don't want to sit on judgment on anybody. I ate when I lived in the dorms with Hyles Anderson College kids for 28 years, I ate just like a teenager. You say you are what you eat. I should have been a nice big pepperoni pizza because that was my favorite. But at 45, I had an epiphany with my health, and I changed all my habits, and I believe that's why I'm still alive. I've outlived my mentor, Marlene Evans. My only sibling went to heaven at 35 with a very bad case of MS. I'm hoping and praying that I can outlive both my parents. I'm hoping that I can keep teaching the next generation. But I will guarantee you that the use of iodine and progesterone will help some of you ladies with some of your mood swings, your depression, your anxieties. And if you're having panic attacks, I wish you'd PM me because I could really help you with that. You're not mental. You're not crazy. That is a physical problem. It's caused by lack of circulation to the brain. And there's so many things that can be helped. Mrs. Trieber just sent me another note, and I'm glad you did. We gave up, my husband and I gave up dairy products many, many, many years ago, and here's why. Remember I said endocrine disruptors. Most of your dairy products are full of hormones. So if you do eat dairy, it needs to be organic or raw, okay? But it'd be better to go to goat cheese. We'd better go to cashew milk, almond milk. Now there's a variety. Your whole generation, those of you that are 40 and under, you've got it made. You've got Dr. Oz, you've got Whole Foods, you've got Trader Joe's. You've got so many great things out there that you can learn about. Be careful of anything that's not marked hormone-free. For example, Kerrygold butter is from cows that don't get shot with hormones. So you want to eat hormone-free meat. You should be able to get that. I get mine at Walmart. Hormone-free. You can get hormone-free meat, hormone-free milks, cheeses. I know you think you don't like goat cheese. There's gobs of times of goat cheese. Up in Northwest Indiana, I got 5 kinds up at my local Myers. Didn't even have to go to the health food store, and it was delicious. They have mozzarella. They have cheddar. They've got all the different types of goat cheese. You can find the kind you like. There's also a sheep cheese, and when I go to Sam's, I get my sheep cheese. It's Manchego, made from a sheep. And if you know in the Bible, there's a lot about sheep cheese and goat cheese and honey and fish and pomegranates and wild leeks and garlic and all the healthy things that are listed. I made a list the other day of what the Jews ate in the wilderness. Very healthy. And you can still get those things. You can still learn how to use them. Pomegranate seeds are delicious in salads. There's ways you can learn how to eat all of that stuff. And so packaged food, it's not food. Read the labels. If there's 25 things on it, those are the ingredients. Those are the endocrine disruptors. Those are the things that are making our bodies get all out of balance and out of whack. You are what you eat. Sleep, drink, and breathe. We got to breathe a lot of fresh air. We've got to take deep breaths. We got to eat right. And listen, you can change now. You don't have to feel bad. You know, I messed up until I was 45. And besides some of the damage that was done to me by the medical community, but I did a lot to myself. I did not know, there was not a lot of nutrition. I did not know a lot about really healthy food. And when I said that healthy, I'm talking about a lot of, my husband, for lunch today, he took raw veggies and he took a avocado cashew dip that I bought at Aldi's. You can get a lot of great stuff at Aldi's. Take your time. I used to tell my girls when I taught high school, I taught the Borscht, Debbie Borscht had me teach it at Hammond Baptist. I used to teach the high school girls. Make a date with your mother and go to Whole Foods. Don't just go to shop. Don't do your regular shopping. Just go and study the aisles and read the ingredients. Look at the packages. Taste test things if they'll let you. They used to taste test. They probably won't right now with the virus. But when that comes back, you want to be able to go and see what they've got. They have a little tiny cheese basket with little pieces where they're a small amount, so that you can eat get a little thing for $3, a small little thing of cheese. And you can taste test some different cheeses and find the things you like. But you really want to live on the fresh vegetables, fresh fruits, nuts, seeds. Nuts and seeds are real important. All of those things will help your body get back in balance. Most of us, like I said, my Dr. Streeter said to me, Carol, your body holds a grudge and it takes a while to get over it. It really does. And many of us have to be on supplements and hormones and natural things. But don't feel bad about it. You want to do as much as you can for your body. My husband and I both take natural bioidentical hormones. We take a lot of B vitamins. B vitamins are very important for the hormones. B vitamins help the nerves. You need a high amount of B complex, like 500 milligrams, and a B complex that's got several of the Bs in it. And so I pray this has been a blessing to you. I'm looking back. I want to see if there's anything else I didn't mention. I really appreciate you coming in and joining me. Pray that I don't know if I'm going to get my own YouTube channel, but pray for me that I work out all the details. I'm learning. I set my whole thing up tonight with nobody. I'm so excited. I think that, I know I wanted to tell you, people at Great Lakes are at high risk. Anybody from the Great Lakes states are at high risk for thyroid issues. I have a friend who still hasn't gotten help. I met her here in Missouri. 30 years of depression. She's been on all kinds of drugs. Can't get, and here it's not easy to get help because she's going to regular doctors. And thank you, Mrs. Trieber, love you too, lady. And she's all because no thyroid function. If you don't have a good thyroid, you will have depression. You will have fatigue. You will be cold. You will have depression, panic attacks, constipation. There's 150 symptoms. You may not have them all, but you'll have something of the 150. Heart disease to identify, not easy. And again, the triplets, estrogen dominance, hypothyroidism, and low progesterone, they all go together. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, you are what you eat, and the Bible says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. You go out there and just research up a storm, and give me a call or give me a PM message if you need help. Bye-bye.